Well, welcome to the follow-up after show, kind of our web extra for the viewers that had dialed into the big show. We had a lot to talk about voting rights. There's a lot more to talk about. That's why we've got our two guests sticking around for the after show for a few more minutes. We have Kathleen Zanotti in the studio with me, the Bay County Clerk, and Nancy Wang, the Executive Director of the Voters Not Politicians organization, statewide organization. So Nancy, I'm going to start with you on the after show. The U.S. Supreme Court began its session just this week on Monday. One of the issues they may take up at some point, something called independent legislative theory, which in essence, my understanding, is a sort of a conservative anti-voting push. What can you tell us about that?
Right, so they definitely are going to be taking up that issue. They decided to take that case, and it's really a very extreme theory, but the court looks like it might adopt it. And the issue is who has the right to make or the power to make rules over our federal elections in each of the states. And the theory says that it's only the state legislature, and they can make whatever rules they want to govern the presidential or U.S. Senate or U.S. House elections that happen, for example, in 2024, regardless of if there's a governor veto or a state constitution that says that those rules are unconstitutional, that they would not be kind of checked at all by any other state actors. So that's one of the messages that we're trying to send out to folks, is that this is a midterm election, but it's not just any other midterm. You really have to show up and vote, because if you don't, there could be a runaway state legislature that, if it's not pro-democracy, it could be trying to undermine our next elections in 2024.
All right, something that we can keep an eye on. Kathleen, I'm going to come to you. We've had this sort of wave in the last couple of years of changing a lot of our voting laws, enhancing them, expanding them. Voters Not Politicians, Nancy's group was successful in passing the gerrymandering, the Independent Citizens Commission. Now we're looking at trying to pass more expanded voting rights. What's your sense of the culture, society? Are we just sort of ready for change? And do you also think maybe we're going backwards? Don't you explain that?
I've seen both.
Okay.
Proposals like this and the one that was passed in 2018, I think absolutely is moving forward. We're saying, what can we do better? How can we get more people to vote? Of course, we just talked about how there's work involved. I still agree that there will be a lot of work involved, but we're trying to make changes for the better. What I am seeing right now, I think, is continued fear from 2020. For example, I believe we are going back in terms of technology in the world after COVID, where, Nancy is joining us through Zoom or she's not in the room with us. But for example, in my county, using our tabulators, we have 3 different tabulator companies in the entire state. Our company, during this last year, had an upgrade. Now, every piece of that upgrade has to be approved by the state, as it should. We don't just upgrade stuff that our vendors give us and not look at it. One piece that we were previously able to use during the elections and take advantage of was to wirelessly modem in our unofficial election results on election night. So we could post election results as quick as possible to our constituents on our website. And like I said, those were unofficial results. Nothing is official until the canvassers certify the election. During the upgrade, it was decided to not allow, I guess, anyone with our tabulators, because that was the company that was going through the upgrade, to take advantage of that wireless modem thing anymore. So during the August election, we were at my office till 3 a.m. That's how long it took for us to post election results at night. I expect us to be there even longer in November, because we had to go back the old school way. We had to have our local clerks actually physically drive in their mediums so that we could get those election results. So there was nothing proven unsafe or unreasonable about that modeming in. I'm told that it's actually just as secure and uses the same program that the United States military uses to transfer their information. So it was not hackable. It's not official results, but just because of the climate that we're in, anything wireless, anything where people perceive that as being hackable, and it wasn't true. And for whatever reason, we're not allowed to do it. And I personally think that that's a move in the wrong direction.
Nancy, I'll let you kind of have the last word on that. She covered a lot of areas. What do you make of some of her thoughts?
Well, I mean, I just want to say that I'm so appreciative of what Kathleen just said. Both the information you just provided and then the fact that it's you speaking. You're a validator in your community, and a lot of the things that people hear, when they're debunked by someone they trust, like their clerk, it changes, the perception of, their whole perception of our elections and the fact that they are safe and secure. It's about voter education. And you hold such an important role in elections, and showing people how it's done, and telling them what is fact and what's not fact. So I really appreciate clerks like you who are really stepping up and making that information available to your constituents.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
a great way to end the after show. That's the last word. You guys made a good team, and got about a month before the elections. You still got a lot of work ahead of you. Good luck with the campaign. Voters, not politicians. Nancy Wang. We'll be interested to see how that turns out on November 8th. And Kathleen, good luck
Thank you.
between now and Election Day.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
yes, thanks.
And thank you for joining us on the Follow Up After Show.